Call this meeting, Mulberry City Commission order is Tuesday, April 21st. If you would please rise for the invocation followed by the pledge. Thank you, Pastor Ryan, for being here.
Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this city. We thank you for these men and women that you've called to serve this city. And God, as the book of James says, if you ask for wisdom, you will give it. And so we pray now for wisdom for everyone who is making decisions tonight, God, that you would give them wisdom into the right things, the right things to do for this city to take us forward. And God, we thank you for that. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. I would remind you that you have not please silence your electronic devices. Roll call, Madam City Clerk.
Commissioner Ayerson?
Here.
Commissioner Barsadi?
Here.
Commissioner Devine?
Here.
Commissioner McDonald? Here. Commissioner Smith? Mayor Hatch?
Here.
City Manager Ayala? Here. Attorney Murphy?
Here. First on the agenda of tonight's meeting for our last meeting on April 7th. What's the pleasure of Commissioner? Move the April 7th meeting.
I have a correction.
Okay.
Page 7. I believe Mr. Devine stated that. That didn't come from me. Under Commissioner McDonald.
What did I allegedly say?
I think you said that. I didn't say that. When we were talking about
That sounds like something I would say.
Yeah, I didn't say that. Okay, I will check that. Okay, thank you.
So we can,
Second.
as amended. Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, there's passed, amended. And then I have a proclamation to read about City Clerk Week. All right, Claire. Whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk is one of the oldest and most essential offices in local government, serving as a cornerstone of democratic governance and public administration. Whereas professional municipal clerks provide the vital link between elected officials, government agencies, and the citizens they serve, ensuring transparency, accountability, and access to public information. Whereas professional municipal clerks serve as the stewards of municipal records, the administrators of local legislative processes, and the trusted custodians of democracy at the local level. And whereas professional municipal clerks are committed to the highest standards of integrity, neutrality, and impartiality, providing fair and equal service to all members of the public. And whereas professional municipal clerks serve as a central resource for information regarding the functions, services, and operations of local government, and play a key role in fostering civic engagement and informed communities. And whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to enhance the administration of their offices through ongoing professional development, participation in educational programs, and active involvement in their state, national, and international professional organizations. And whereas it is fitting and proper to recognize the dedication, professionalism, and invaluable contributions of professional municipal clerks who work tirelessly to support effective local governance and serve their communities with distinction. Now, therefore, I, George A. Chaps, Mayor of the City of Mulberry, Florida, together with the members of the Mulberry City Commission, do hereby recognize May 3 through May 9, 2026 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and to extend sincere appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, Jen Benson Garcia, and to all professional municipal clerks for their vital services, professionalism, and unwavering dedication to the communities they represent. Hear, hear. On down here, let Catherine take the picture.
Try to get it down here.
Pretty interesting.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And then we have a presentation is all it says. Okay, so we're going to number 2, chili cook-off donation. That's Miss Chelsea, I bet.
So are we skipping that, or?
We're skipping 6-1, yes. It'll be on the next one agenda.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Commission. It is time to give out some money to some well-deserving local nonprofits. I'm gonna go grab the checks. Mr. Mayor, if I can have you come down.
Yep.
And how this will work for those receiving checks is we'll call you up, you'll have a photo shoot with the mayor, and then if you would actually come to the mic and explain a little bit about what it is your organization does, because you certainly deserve some mic time on that. All right. Thank you.
Chelsea, you have time for a question?
Always.
We were wondering how you chose recipients. Yes.
It's at the discretion of the city manager historically. This year, with it being interim city manager Ayala, we repeated last year's list after our conversation, but it's always been at the discretion of the city manager.
Oh, so there's no format or like.
There has, and that goes back to the Palooza from, I know going to chili cook-off 2 years. All right, Ms. Rosie, you'll be up first. Our American Legion of Writers, chapter 72. The president is actually doing a unity ride, so I'm able to make it today. But I know you're the quartermaster.
Yes, I'm a quartermaster, so I will. The Riders family of the American Legion has to be a member of one of the families at the American Legion. The sons, the auxiliary, or a Legion member, which is a veteran. So if you're in one of those members, then you can join the Riders, and they do a lot of, like Maria and her husband and a couple of the other Riders, they're on a unity ride all week collecting money, and then it goes to veteran suicide. Don't have the exact name in my head, but we've been fundraising for that, and I'm sure that she would really, and our Riders will be very appreciative of this check.
Thank you so much. I did forget to mention that today we are giving out checks in total of $1,500 to each organization. And a giant thank you to everyone who attended the chili cook-off, sponsored it, cooked in it, because that's how we're able to do this today. Our next recipient is Fam Church.
I think for us, it's our food distribution that we do weekly, and we currently serve about 250 families a week with our food distribution. It comes out to over 1,000 people a week, individuals. It's growing. I mean, we have to turn people away every week because we run out of food. I'm sure the Mulberry Service Center experiences the same thing, but yeah, we turn people away. But we are so thankful to a city that partners with other organizations in the community, and so thank you so much for this. We appreciate it greatly.
Friends of the Mulberry Library.
To Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, and to the community at large, thank you once again for this recognition and generous donation. Friends of the Mulberry Library, our mission is simple. It is to support our local public library and all of the wonderful programs and services that they provide. So this donation is going to go a long way towards that. I will not stand up here and say everything that the library has to offer, but you hear about that every single month. So thank you again for giving us the opportunity to support our library.
city commission and the community, but just thank you for this wonderful donation. We really do appreciate it. Greater Hope Church is in the business of very simply, along with other churches in the community, spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ throughout the community. Part of that is loving on the people of this community as in the struggles of the community. We do a lot of work at the Community Services Center, as well as passing out meals to families during holiday season. But special thanks to Pastor Brian and fam, all the work that they do week in and week out, and serving so many people in the community. We're a growing church. You'll see groundbreaking here within the next few weeks of our new sanctuary facility, which is in the plot just south of what used to be the old Babcock building. And we're really, really excited about the growth of Greater Hope Church. Thank you very much for this.
Greater Hope is sort of an unsung hero too of our tree lighting, because they're always willing to lend me their sound equipment, which is very appreciated. Up next is Mulberry High School Band Parent Association.
Thank you guys so much for thinking of us again. We're just a group of parents that work really hard to try and raise some extra funds to help supplement for the kids. We feed them. They're actually at a meeting tonight planning the band banquet for the kids and band camp, so this always helps with feeding them throughout all of that, because we all know summer practice is incredibly hot. But they're a great group of kids. They love performing for you, and we're really grateful for every time you invite them to play. And they did tell me let you know that they're always available. So.
Mulberry Community Service Center.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, all those involved in making the decision to assist our great adventure of providing uniforms, school supplies, backpacks to the many students of the Mulberry schools, Purcell, Willow, Sykes, and the middle school. This money goes a long way in providing those services and items. And our intention is to start early, and this is the initial amount that is going to go towards our goal of providing those supplies. And we thank you very much.
Mulberry Concerned Citizens.
Bringing up the group.
All right, come around here.
And,
One of those.
this one. Commission? Concerned citizens. And, and you take it, Officer Cortez, please, come on. This is concerned citizens. Good evening, everyone. To our mayor and our commissioners, and to Ms. Chelsea, who is the chairperson of the city cook-off. Let's give her another round of applause. I feel it was hard because, the children are all great, and of course, it's only one woman, and I know Ms. Garcia was so proud of her mom. She was the cook-off queen lady, but everybody's children was great. So, on behalf of the concerned citizen, we have to say thank you so much for this generous donation. Because we are it's a simple organization, we're dedicated, we're committed. We're all about community, we're all about families that's in need. We support all our local schools, whatever the schools need. You know that teacher appreciation is coming up, so we get something, maybe a pizza there, cookies. Valentine's has already been, so we all get Valentine's candies. And of course, graduation, we can't leave that out. What we do with our funds and with our money is we do start these graduates. Once they're selected,
by the churches, but not, limited to the churches. Anybody from the community can give us a grant. And what we do, we start them off with a little bank account, $25, you know, that open up a bank account, or $50. If they're going off to college, they get 50. If they just wanna, when they work for them, they get the 25. So, those are the things that, what we do, with the concerned citizens. We work with all the churches. We're so proud of that Pastor, Brian, both of the pastors, at the beginning of the new church. Pastor Brian feeds the multitude every Monday. I passed by and seen him. They're out there just like he said, had to turn away. So we work with the community as a whole. Ms. Jennifer, Mulberry Community Service Center, let's give her a round of applause, because we know they work so hard. And I don't want to forget, back to school bash, we want with that. So we just all of our community serving and working, want to help everybody that's in need. So these funds will go a long ways for us, and thank you so much.
Mulberry High School Choir.
Thank you all so very much. Mulberry, of course, cannot function, unfortunately, without some funds, right? Because from small things to buying music, to big things like chartering 40 kids to state NPA, like we just got back from doing today, where we earned straight superiors. Those things don't happen without support from, you all. So thank you so very much. Traveling to Disney, all of those types of things. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Mulberry baseball and softball. Who I don't know if we have a representative.
Okay.
So we take the money back. And last but certainly not least, the SPCA of Florida.
You know, the distinction here is that we're the only ones without a Mulberry zip code. But that doesn't mean we don't serve Mulberry. And so we're so thrilled that you recognize that. A big thing that we do that is a really huge need is our food assistance program, where the last Sunday of every month, we have cars lined up all the way down the block. The people who are in those cars have pre-registered, and they're picking up the food for their pets, so that just because they have some financial need doesn't mean they have to be deprived of the benefits of having a pet. We also do the same thing, we partner with Animals, and so the people who get Meals on Wheels also receive food for their pets when they get their food distribution. And that all comes from our warehouse, and the way we fill that warehouse are through donations like this. So thank you all so much for your support and for including us, even though we're just a little bit, what are we, north of here, right?
North Mulberry.
Yeah. Thank you all so much.
Thank you to our recipients for taking time to come out and get your checks. And again, thank you, Commission, for allowing this to be the result of this chili cook-off. It makes my job easier when you're promoting, saying that it immediately helps our children, our veterans, our community eat, our arts and sports programs in a way that truly makes Mulberry a better place. So thank you so much for allowing that, and have a great rest of your meeting.
Moving on to Director's Report, Finance, shall have a report?
John Law, Finance Director, and I have one big report this evening. Jane, Christine, and I have started to work on next year's budget. It's now difficult to put that together. So we hope to have something worthwhile to present in September.
Thank you, Jason, for all you do. All right, moving on to outreach. Mr. Mulberry.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Paige, Director of Outreach and Engagement. I did want to say, it's really lovely, growing up here and then getting to work in a place and being able to be a part of these large city events. That I know a lot of work goes into and seeing the fruit of that go back to, the places that helped raise me. So
Yep.
it's heartwarming as a Mulberryan. So, let's see, for April, we have a jam-packed month this month. If you have not caught an event at the studio, please check out our schedule. Everything's posted on the city website, on Facebook, on Instagram, all that good stuff. So if you haven't stopped by, be sure to do that. But we are here to talk about March. One of our big events in March was our 8th annual citywide garage sale. I went back and counted because I was like, how long have we actually done this? And so this year is our 8th annual. We had roughly 40 individual places post homes, post sales, plus English Green, who I counted as one because they had, they typically have 40 to 50 sales in there. And Bonnie Carlson from Chelsea's apartment sent me a really kind message saying that on the morning of the garage sale, between like 7 and 9 a.m., they handed out 110 printed maps just at English Green. So we had lots of participation, lots of treasures to be found. So thank you to everyone who hosted a sale or shopped. Looking forward to next year. Also partnered with the HR department. The studio was happy to host CPR training for our employees in March. We had a good time, learned a lot, only ended up with one employee laid out on the floor who did not include their photo. So remember that when it's raised by John. Awesome.
Is this the day that Chelsea took over the library?
Yes,
Okay.
if you remember, Chelsea's creative library envisioning. This was the day, this is where we all were. Taryn continued her Sustainable Home series, so that will be the last one until the fall. We're taking a break over summer. But in this most recent one, we used old soda cans to create hammered out like charms for your garden. Our new release, where we partnered with the Gem Theater, was Kung Fu Panda. So we made our own Poe pandas, and then I thought Taryn was very clever, saying you could shop your way over to the Gem Theater for the viewing of Kung Fu Panda. Going back to Chili Cook-Off, the studio was happy to support in some behind-the-scenes work. We made t-shirts, we created the goodie bags for our car show participants. We were happy to host the hospitality house for our car show participants, as well as being the registration point for the car show that morning. So spring break was in March, feels like 100 years ago now, but the first day of spring break was St. Patrick's Day, so we hosted a St. Patrick's Day drop-in. So we had different craft stations set up where each station was a different St. Patrick's Day craft. We had a good time. A couple of the kiddos really enjoyed the Fruit Loop rainbow because they just sat there and ate Fruit Loops the whole time. So, I probably would have done the same thing, so I can't be too upset about that. And then on the Wednesday of spring break, we had a spring break drop-in for kiddos where we talked about plant cycles and pollinators, and they planted their own wildflower seeds. We have some parents that have reported back that they've grown and had flowers, so that's exciting. And then we also had worms, talking about composting and stuff. So if you see a receipt from the studio that has worms, there was a legitimate educational reason that I spent city funds on worms. Some of them preferred to have gloves on, so we obliged that request. And some were a little too afraid. Easter was last month, so to celebrate, one of the ways we hosted an Easter wreath workshop. It's always fun to see the different variations that people come up with the same set of supplies, the same directions, the same everything, and everyone's wreaths look super different. So I try to be cognizant of that so I don't plug in 49 hot glue guns and have to call Jason or his team to come fix any circuits that I have. we're also happy to support the annual extravaganza. I had the pleasure of being the bunny wrangler this year, so I got to keep the bunny in line, and I've heard it was maybe the best bunny that we've ever had. We're on the street. We'll see next year.
We're starting to ever.
So we have a bunch of upcoming stuff. My composting thing is actually going to be postponed, so don't forget that. We've got open play mahjong coming up this month for the beginning of May. We're going to have on May the 4th, for May the 4th Be With You, we'll have Star Wars themed crafts for the kids at 3:30. What else? We have our planning for our summer programming, which if you remember, we have Make It Mondays. Last year was Make It Messy Mondays. This year we are going with the Library and Americas theme of America's 250th. So each week we're going to focus on a national park and having a craft that coincides with that. And then also in May, just kind of an exciting event. We are partnering with Purcell Elementary, and we're going to host their 5th grade graduation senior ball dance. So we're happy to do that as well. Like I said, March was super busy. We had 55 class sessions. We had 12 partnerships with groups like the Mercedes Theater Company and our local Girl Scout troop, and supported the 3 city events, Chili, Extravaganza, and the Garage Sale. Questions?
Thank you.
Who's doing the lady on the Mulberry Chamber? Cool. There you go. Come on down, report.
Start with the chamber. So right now we have 141 members. Last month we got to do the, the ribbon cutting for the Citizen virtual teller, down by the ice machine. On the 10th we did the play shoot, we had 6 teams participate, and the sheriff's department took first place. May 7th, we actually have a mixer that's being sponsored over at Landmark Realty by Commissioner Devine. And then on the 20th, we're gonna have a ribbon cutting for the new Center for Healthcare. Thank you.
And then the agenda says discussion update on Polk County Transportation Planning Organization. Huh?
That would be me.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. So, it's a long meeting, again, I just pull out something that could be a little bit relevant to our town. This wasn't necessarily, these slides up here weren't necessarily in this meeting, but because they talked about, the transit development plan, the Citrus Connection is part of that. And because gas prices are high and people are, some might need some transportation ideas, I wanted to bring this to your attention, so, they have, if you're in an after-school program or need to get to work, they have, free rides with your high school ID, so that's a good value. Veterans ride free, so that's good, that can help some out, and then if you have a court date and you need transportation, if you contact Blair Allen, she gives out the vouchers for transportation for court dates, if you fit her criteria. And then what's the next one? And then they also have apps that you can download. You could find your route on the app and or digital currency. You can put money on your card to pay for your bus ride and stuff, so those apps are there. And just some information on the routes for our city. Is that on there?
Yes, the BART to Mulberry, Fort Meade, 21XW.
Okay. Is there a map too?
No.
The map didn't come through? Oh, okay. Well, the app also will help you with all that information. It's a free app, so I hope that's of some value. And the other thing they talked about is Target Zero. So they're trying to make transportation where so many people aren't getting harmed. Right now, the biggest traffic complaints that are happening are with distracted drivers. Aging elderly is the next. And then also motorcycle and teen driving cause the next amount of accidents that have happened. And then work zones scored pretty high for accidents and pedestrian and bicycle accidents. So they're trying to improve traffic so we don't lose so many lives and family members. That's all I really, oh, no, this one, okay. This one's really good. I tried to get the video, but we couldn't get it here, it wasn't uploaded, the file was too big. But the Highway 60 scenic, designation, if we get that, that also will come with some free advertising to our city, because they're gonna showcase us on there, so that'll be more people coming to Mulberry, maybe to help some of our businesses and stuff, so that'd be really good once they complete this.
Good joy, more traffic.
Well, that was the only negative thing we heard on 60 was, is it gonna increase the accidents? That was the only one concern that was out there, if we put more spotlight on this street, so that's all I really have for transportation.
Thank you, Ron. And Neil from Ridgely?
Yeah, I want to have a brief discussion about the bus line. If I remember correctly, it stops at Walmart, goes south past through Mulberry into Bradley. The only other stop is at MLK and 5th Street, I believe. Yes, not very available to our residents. So I'd like to see what we can do about possibly changing that going forward. I know historically there was former commission well before us were totally against it. Didn't want to pay the tax.
Out by the drugstore.
I do.
It's building,
Okay.
on 37.
Other than that, only places they go, stop. And as I said, you know, I think past commissioners were really keeping it at bay.
They were.
And that was then, this is now. Let's try to have active discussions going forward.
Why are we keeping it that way?
Money. They were trying to charge the city for
Yeah. And of course, then we tax our citizens for that, but it's something worth having discussion about with, Thomas Phillips. Okay. Now we'll go into the Ridge dinner. So, our dinner was, when was it? What day was that? April 9th, okay, I couldn't remember, it was, last week or so. April 8th, there was stuff circulating on Facebook. Had the days been flipped, I would have not responded and helped fuel the fire about the misinformation that's going on at the Depot 303. I was going to speak about this during my report, but I'll do it now.
I think you should wait till your report.
Okay.
Right now, you're on for Ridge League.
Okay.
Pick the Ridge League, please.
Well, I was saying all that to tie it into this. The speaker spoke about social media, and that's pretty much all he spoke about. So that's all I have to report on that. You were there.
So that's all for them.
Yeah.
All right, new business, we have a resolution, and I'll turn it over to our lawyer for that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Would you like me to read the title of the resolution? Resolution number Res 2026-07, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Mulberry, Florida, relating to city employment, revising the text of the City of Mulberry Personnel Rules and Regulations Manual, declaring section 30.12 as obsolete, deleting the same and revising the table of contents, correcting typographic errors in sections 1.02, 14.06, and 14.07 to align text with current and historic city practices, providing for conflict, severability, and an effective date. Thank you.
Can you explain to me personally?
I'll defer to City Manager.
Sure. So if you look on page 41 of 65, it's under section 1.02. You'll notice item number A and item number A1 are identical. The verbiage is the same, so we're just striking out one of them and then Persons hired will be number 1, and then persons employed will be number 2. That's the correction that's being done on that page, on that section. On 4265, for the callbacks, our typical practice is 2 hours of actual hours worked when we call them back in. We have 3 here. It was inconsistent with what our current practice is, so we're just cleaning that up. The same goes on to page 4365. You would notice that in the A, it had actually the number 2 in parentheses. However, we had the word free spelled out. So that was just correcting that section. On page 4465, when it talks about regular full-time at-will employees, it's referring to a section that does not exist in our personnel manual. So we're just eliminating that section since section 102B does not exist in this personnel manual.
Any questions or comments, Commissioner?
But we are gonna have a full.
Yes, we're currently working on, getting the entire thing updated so it's more consistent and with current laws and stuff like that, so.
So it's no longer obsolete.
What's your pleasure, Commissioner?
I make a motion that we accept this.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Airman, seconded by Commissioner McDonald. Is there any further discussion? Anybody in the audience wish to speak to this? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. I didn't hear everybody. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All opposed? Thank you. It passed.
Mayor, you're over them tonight, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Due to Commissioner Smith's absence.
Yeah, I am. Go ahead. I voted for it. I didn't say it, but I did. I forgot. Yeah. Okay.
Couple times.
Municipal complex, that you, Jackie, or
City Attorney Drew is gonna speak on that one.
Alrighty, well,
on the debt service?
Mr. Crawford is not here, but, I think we have a meeting tomorrow, I think, to discuss
Yes,
these
so,
matters, and go ahead, Jenny.
so from my understanding, the reason this was put on the agenda was because we need direction from the commission on how you would like to proceed with the loan. Do you wanna proceed with the $13 million loan? Do you wanna just refinance the $5 million loan? How would you like city staff to proceed when it comes to discussion with the bank? Or what your thoughts are on this?
Are we gonna discuss, I thought we were having a meeting on the April 21st. I didn't mean that.
A couple matters,
I thought
just
we were gonna have guests here to speak on it, sorry.
background information, as the manager has noted. We have a balloon note that's coming due for $5 million, and that's due, coming due in June of this year, so we have to pay that regardless. And I understand that there have been individual meetings with each of the commissioners, which is appropriate, and perfectly compliant with sunshine. My other general understanding is that Mr. Bryn Gilson, who is the town's finance assistant, consultant, and helps us prepare our financial statements, as well as Mr. Jay Glover, who is a principal with PAF. Is it PAF or PAF?
It's PMF.
PMF.
I'm sorry, PFM.
All right, Public Financial Management. And he's engaged in the business of representing local governments and other public entities in securing and helping them with their financial decisions. So in combination with that and Mr. Wasman, and taking into consideration some of the potential issues that may be coming down the pike, property tax reform, et cetera, which we don't. You know, as we sit here tonight, April 21st of 2026, I'm not certain what the trajectory of that effort is. I recognize that the special session has been put off for about a week, that there may be some things added to it. At the end of the day, the legislature has to come up with a budget before the end of June. And so, I just don't know what else can happen. Whether, or, I don't know if there will be a ballot measure that will go before the voters in November of this year or not on property tax reform. And if there is a measure on property tax reform, what that will be, and what the outcome of that will be. But in the interest of trying to be proactive and transparent, we ran some scenarios that showed what could happen based on the proposals that we do know are before the legislature. And so when you combine all that together, it is my understanding that if we took out the $13 million loan, that would potentially just say that in a very general sense, discretionary spending for 5 plus maybe 7 years moving forward. That is what it is. And that was something that we just wanted to make sure was there.
Commission discretionary spending?
That would just
The whole,
that would be the city. That would be the capital improvement programs, the different things that would be involved in that. You would be opting to fund that particular project, and then you could be hamstrung potentially on funding other projects. But again, that's just something that needs to be considered. With the idea that $5 million is the minimum necessary presently, that we have to come up with that, and I don't know exactly, John, what is the due date for that? June 20th?
I believe that's today.
2026, I believe that's correct. And of course, there have been ongoing conversations, as I understand it, with Citizens Bank and other lending institutions. I don't know what the particulars of those are at this point, but the city and its professional staff will continue to engage in those. But I guess at this point, we wanted to gauge the commission's, get a discussion going and find out at a commission meeting what the commissioner's thoughts, directions are on this particular matter.
Well, we know.
Go ahead.
Okay, I don't think we should carry more debt at this point. I think we have some resources that we haven't utilized that we could try to work on getting and not create even more debt at this point. That's just all I have to say.
Where are we standing on the USDA?
I was gonna ask that, okay.
So the agreement for consultant, the agreement has been submitted to legal for review. Drew did request for us to have that agreement at the May 1st meeting because he wouldn't be here tonight.
And I do know that Mr. Crawford did speak to Ms. Angela Priley, who was, used to be with USDA, but is now, I guess, in a consulting role. I know Ms. Priley, I've had dealings with her I say no, I've had professional dealings with Ms. Priley when she was with USDA. And based on my discussions with Mr. Crawford, there are a lot of intricacies that are attendant to a loan with the USDA. As a federal agency, there are a lot of things, a lot of hoops that you have to jump through, a lot of things that have to be accomplished. And while there is some optimism that we can do that, it is not, it's kind of time consuming. And my understanding is that the agreement reflects a fee for the services that would be rendered by Ms. Priley. The advantage of having Ms. Priley on board, in my view, is that she understands, by having worked at the USDA, all of the, how to accomplish the hoops and can help the city, if that's the city's vision, to navigate successfully through that loan process. At the end of the day, there are some advantages, perhaps, to that, yet to be determined, but that is something that is definitely on the radar. And as Ms. I pointed out, the agreement, I think, would be prepared and ready for some more formal consideration at your first meeting in May. know, there is, there's no clear, there's no clear, view, other than from my perspective, other than to suggest that we know we have to pay the $5 million. That's a certainty. And we know that we can hopefully obtain the funds necessary to do that and still be on track. So, I don't know, maybe tonight's not gonna be the night where we get ultimate direction, but, it would be interesting to know what, as Commissioner McDonald noted, but.
There's federal grant money that's great, that we haven't even ever
Sure.
requested.
And as you've noted, there are other sources of funds, probably both federal and state, that could be an advantage. And, there are some, as it relates to this particular property, there are probably some cleanup, voluntary tax credit programs, brownfield, potential issues. And there are things out there that can facilitate and help a local government like Mulberry. Part of the reason in the history, I can say, as I understand it, in one of the attractions of the property that was purchased, was that it did have some attractive features, albeit hazardous substances. It had connections to the Alafaya River, connections to important resources of the state, and which would make it a potential property that could generate interest by the state, brownfields, DEP, and other folks to help by way of grants and other types of things. Grants could be potential, for, not even a loan, but a complete grant fund. So I don't know how deep that surface has been scratched yet, and I think that's probably very worthwhile to continue to pursue. But anyway.
I have a question. Can that loan that's due in June or July, whatever you said, can that be like rolled over or?
I'm sure that
Finance or whatever the right word is.
I will defer to Mr. Wasman, but I'm sure it can be. The bank will want their interest and they'll want.
Well, I understand that.
But I don't know what the parameters are or how the dialogue is on that.
Okay, so as Attorney Murphy said, we're just trying to get some direction tonight so that when we meet everybody by Zoom meeting tomorrow, to establish what we're going to do. So, yes, the bank is willing to work with us on $5 million. So, so if we roll the $5 million over, then they're going to expect us to start making principal and interest payments on that to start repaying that loan. Now, I don't know what that amortization schedule for that payback looks like right this second. But that would probably start fairly soon. So the meeting tomorrow is to kind of point us in the direction that we want to go, so that can give the bank time to get their paperwork ready based on what we're going to decide to do. And we're also going to have John and Drew from Boswell and done that involved. And then we're also going to have the bond council from Brian and Olive involved, to make sure that if we do the refinancing, that we're not committing ourselves, that we're taking it step by step, and that we're not rushing into the repayment process. So the bank is.
The reason I ask is this, the impression I got from what was said here initially is that the city's got to pay the bank $5 million in June. And that ain't gonna happen. I know that. You don't have $5 million in your bank account. I know that. But that was the impression I was getting. So I'm like, something's gotta happen, and what's it gonna be? And we need to see all of our different options, not one.
It would be helpful to have the amortization schedule, and also be helpful to know how much extra that's gonna cost.
And how did we wait until the meeting till tomorrow?
understand where I'm coming from? We need to see all options, John, not just one or two. And if there's only one or two options available, so be it. But
Well, I think, just to step back for a second, I agree with you. I think that's a prudent way to proceed, obviously. I don't know that tomorrow we're making any decisions. I think it's part of the continued dialogue that we've been having with our professionals.
That is true. And the final decision will not be
No,
made.
ultimately, the final decision is up to the commission. But I think at the end of the day, the meeting for tomorrow is to help us get additional information that we can then bring back to the commission.
And that's what we need.
And so that you all can be more informed. And the question, I guess, tonight is kind of a preliminary one. And I'm hearing that maybe you still want more, more information. And Commissioner McDonald said she's not interested in going in any more debt.
well, I'm not interested in doing away with all of our discretionary spending either.
Right. And so I think
That's a priority.
right.
It's basically a matter of what could be, would be, and what will be. And that's the information that we have to build that. Rosie, you were gonna say something earlier.
I was gonna say, what are our options, but it is what he says.
We're on the same track.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that part of the, if I may, part of the analysis is, as the mayor noted, I say this only because I'm not certain, but I don't know that we have $5 million sitting in an account that we can pay off that debt. So, and that's not unusual, that's not bad, that doesn't mean we've done anything we shouldn't. What we generally would do on a loan such as this is you would contemplate that you would be negotiating with the holder of that loan prior to its maturity, which is what we're doing. And so this is not, a bad thing, this is not a negative reflection on any one thing or what have you. It's just, these are the facts as we understand them. This is, we have a $5 million balloon note that we need to take care of, which we will. We have a potential $13 million investment that
Total of 13.
total of 13 to include the 5. That would, I guess, that would cover, well, continuing with some portion of construction.
Basically the first building.
Yeah.
My understanding is.
Like 75% of the first building, because it would be a complete build out of the first floor,
Okay.
the second floor is just hollow.
Yeah, but I mean, it would get us started. And sometimes the best course is, when you have a big elephant, is to take little bites, if you can. So that would be that approach. I'm not suggesting that is the best approach. Anytime that you discuss finances, you have interest and you have expenses, and all that has to be taken into consideration. But we also have goals. We want to see things happen. We want to see progress. And so I think hopefully tomorrow we're going to learn some information, more specific information as to what Commissioner Barsati mentioned and what Commissioner Harrison has said, and that is, well, what is the bank going to do for us? And what the mayor has noted, what is that going to look like? What are the payments? Are they twice a year? What's the principal and interest? What is the amortization schedule look like? And I think that's probably information that would be helpful to have that.
So here's my thoughts.
Priority.
So ideally, we're being held hostage by the electeds in Tallahassee until they finish the session about the property tax reform. Yes, we are.
I'm not sure that's how I put it, but I'm not saying it.
That's okay, I said it. Let's just face it, we need property taxes to fund government. We've got 2 months to decide what we want to do going forward, but we need to have a decision probably at our next meeting. I understood we had $30 million to complete this project, start to finish.
You need 30.
I thought we had 30 million.
We never did have that.
Okay. I thought we had 30 million. Okay. Okay, so we need it. Well, we don't need it. I mean, we need it, and we don't need to not spend it. We're seeking direction from professional staff, so we can give direction.
Yeah, what we need is information,
Yeah,
we need numbers.
you know, I hate that we're just putting this project on halt and stall. We bought the property, we've worked the dirt, and kind of makes us look like we don't know what we're doing as a city with no equipment moving dirt.
I don't necessarily see it as a halt, I see it as a commission being fiscally responsible with the citizens' money, finding the best option to finance this property. So I don't really see it as a halt, I see it more as being considerate of where we currently stand as a city.
Yeah, and you know,
So we've got $8 million, it will cost $8 million to build 75% of the building one out.
13, right, wasn't it 13?
That 13 includes that 5 that we.
so I think, I wouldn't want anyone to take away that this project is stalled or that it's been halted. This has been a proactive effort on behalf of those individuals on your staff and consulting groups that can see what's happening in Tallahassee. We can see what's happening and potentially going to happen, and we just want to be prepared so that we can make sure that the citizens' monies that you all are the stewards of is being spent and appropriated in the best possible manner. I don't think there's any suggestion by anyone that we shouldn't move forward in particular, but as Commissioner Barsati noted, really for this elected body to be able to make any kind of decision, you need to have the specific facts and figures. You need to have, what is the amortization schedule, what is the interest rate, what are the payments? You know, we need to see what those are, almost like an Excel spreadsheet kind of information.
Right, with no surprises.
Right, and that's clear, and that we should.
Not surprised enough.
I would think that we could get that information.
And I don't
And
see
probably
it as
have
a
that
halt
information.
either, I see it as a reboot. Basically, we're stepping back and streamlining the process to better work, just like a computer.
Yeah, I agree.
So we wait.
But one of the things,
We
when
will
Neil
tell
said, John, and I don't know who all's gonna be involved in the meeting, you and maybe Christie and John and Drew are our professional staff that we have quote unquote hired to represent us, and I trust your judgments, I do. But, or, you know, the people that will be in that meeting to make, if you have to make a decision tomorrow, you'll make the right one. So,
Well, I can assure you there will be no decisions made
okay.
on these matters. These are elected body decisions.
It's more like a fact finding.
It's a fact finding, and it's making sure that we have sufficient specific information to be able to bring back to the commission, so that you all, as a deliberative body, can be aware of what there is, and then make that decision that's in the best interest of the citizens, and we move forward.
Good.
Yes, so again, we don't want to be blindsided.
No,
We don't want too much
no
debt.
surprises.
Can we hear, does anybody, can we hear anybody in the audience?
Anybody in the audience want to speak to
Give
this?
us your feedback, please.
Speak now, forever hold your peace, or, come on. Come on.
Something on, comment.
Humble my address is on file with the city clerk. As both a member of the community and as a board member for the CRA, I will repeat myself again. I probably sound like a broken record about being fiscally responsible with taxpayer dollars. I think this is the right approach to have a fact-finding workshop tomorrow with the staff and consultants that are meeting in order to bring that information back to you, answering your questions that you have tonight so that you can make the appropriate decisions moving forward. For all of the hats that I wear, I think that that is appropriate, and I thank you for the consideration that you're putting into this moving forward.
So you don't mind it, as a community member, if this had to be done in phases, you want what's financially
I think it's important to look at the big picture as a whole, and as the legal counsel has presented, sometimes eating that elephant takes smaller bites. So I think once you have the information that you're requesting, you'll be better equipped to make that decision, and I have faith in this body to make those decisions accordingly.
Thanks, sir. Anybody else? Well, once, twice, 3 times sold. We're ready to move on.
Oh, wait. I was going to just throw something random out there. I don't know if you ever have heard of the term Hatshepsut. It's Hatshepsut. It's a monument in Egypt. The way they built that is one huge piece of marble that lasts from here to the street and is twice as high ground. The way that it was constructed was all in one piece, and then they had to upright it. So the way they did it was carve it out, and then start pulling away the sand at the bottom. So each time the sand was moved, it would go up, they moved the sand to the front, move more, until it was upright. Now it stood there for 2,000 years, so they did something right, and that's what we're looking at here. Zach can talk in tangents and come around.
That's actually pretty good.
We're gonna move on. Legacy Lake. Who's gonna talk about that? Go for it, Dan.
So a few months prior, toward the end of last year, Legacy Lake's representatives submitted a request for reimbursement on ERCs. Prior to, Rick did make the call of not honoring that simply because, based on legal advice, if it were Ski Paradise, the original owner, the city would honor what Mr. Borchers has stated in his letter to them. However, it's a different owner. The city legally does not have to honor that request. The ERCs that were paid were based on Legacy Lake's engineer. Their engineer is the one that came up with these totals, and that's what they paid. If the city is looking to reimburse, that's like $87,000 that the city will be reimbursing back to Legacy Lakes. If you're wanting to honor the original email from Mr. Borchers to Ski Paradise, the previous owner.
So that, they're not here tonight to speak, right?
Just to clarify, Legacy Lake bought out Ski Paradise.
Yes.
Did they pay for the ERCs when they bought it out? Or was that part of the package when they bought it?
No, they pay the ERCs after.
After.
So there's no email when the new owners purchased and their due diligence time of closing on this property, they didn't, there's no email traced back to this verifying this would be the new owner's rates for me now. That would surprise us.
No, it was just honored for the previous owner. Nothing was ever stated to Legacy Lakes that we would honor this,
Okay.
or that these would be.
We can't find it.
Well, then you should have, I mean, when you buy a business, you should have, if he could have said he had this, then you should have verified it, but.
Is there any legal conflicts there either way? I mean, if we don't pay them or if we do pay them, I mean, is it legal to pay them? Is it?
I think that it's legal to pay them if you choose to refund them. It is also legal to move forward without paying.
Okay.
You know, does that mean that they will take action against us? I don't know. They might. You know,
They have a case.
local governments can sometimes be easy targets. But, you know, I don't think, I mean, if we had an untenable position, I'd be advising you all. But in this case, it appears that we have, at best, a letter from someone who may, you know, Mr. Borchers, who may or may not have even had the authority to represent these matters.
What's the date on the letter?
This letter is dated June 12th, 2023.
So it's almost 3 years old.
And, you know,
It's addressed to the old.
it's
owner.
addressed to the old entity, and I don't know what, you know, okay, that, but at the end of the day, they paid the amount that their engineer, again, I emphasize, their engineer suggested now we have a new engineer, John Bannon, who is the vice president of land development, I guess, who is saying the original calculations were wrong.
I mean, it
So-
was an estimate, but that was that agreement was with Steve Paradise, not,
I mean, if you can recall it, agreement.
no, it says estimate.
Yeah.
Were they informed that we were gonna talk about this today?
Yeah.
They, yeah.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's a matter of fact.
Yeah.
I would have been here.
Yeah.
I think if it was something like that, was it 80,000, something
Yeah,
like that, I would have made sure I was here.
Yeah, I called the number and left them a voicemail.
Well, these are all met,
This,
these are online, right?
Mm-hmm.
And posted and available.
Did you also email them?
no, I called.
Okay.
This is sort of like buying something and then finding it on sale and wanting
Uh-huh.
money back. I'm thinking the new buyers should have talked to the city before they even had the deal.
Yeah, because they have to do
That's my
time period to work on things. and check
They'll wait
things.
till it's done and then say, hey, will you give us this thing? Yeah. At this point, I'm going to have to agree with with Jamie and say, no. Doesn't want to come back with us with more.
Do you have a recommendation?
I have no problem with your,
Okay.
with
Thank
your,
you.
readings
Okay.
as I'm hearing them. How does that answer, not answer a question?
Got it.
Non-answer.
It's a scrap it.
Yeah.
All right, Danny, you okay
Yep.
with that? We're going to Medicare reimbursement update.
Yes, so in my previous city manager reports, I did give you an update that on my last day as assistant city manager, I was informed that a practice that we had in place was incorrectly implemented. This process was prior to me as HR, Sharon did the same process. So it was something we were accustomed to doing. Basically, when an employee reached Medicare age, the city would require that employee to get on Medicare, and the city would pay the Medicare pot, not including the supplement. But then I was informed that we were to pay it in its entirety, the Medicare and the supplement part B or whatever it may be. And so we went, after consulting with legal and finance department, we came up with the individuals that were affected when Sharon was here and during my time as HR, and kind of got the total, and that is what we'll be reimbursing the affected employees. Moving forward, the policy is going to be that we're not gonna require them to get off of our insurance, because based on the recommendation for our healthcare provider, that's not best practice. So we're gonna allow the employee to make the decision. If they decide to go on Medicare, then we'll pay both Medicare and supplement moving forward.
But
This
it's
is-
voluntary, it's a voluntary.
Yes, voluntary. But this is just to give you an update, and let you know like the amount that we're gonna be paying on that topic.
Any questions, Commissioner? Got it? All right, what are your vacant library
Yep,
space?
so the last one on this is the coffee shop has been vacant for over a year, a little bit over a year. We've had 3 businesses in there that have lasted max a year. So we've not had very good luck on it. I did speak to Laura, our librarian, to ask her like, what are your thoughts if that location would be offered to the library? She provided a recommendation or something that she believes that she could utilize that space. Just recently, I did have someone inquire about the space, wanting to bring a farmer's market. That information I also gave to you guys, so you can consider and let me know your thoughts. Do you wanna pursue a business going in there, or would you like to offer it to the library to expand and offer more programs and address it at a later time?
My
What
thoughts
your thoughts are?
My thoughts are that we've had 3 businesses, they all folded within a year and a half time frame. Why do we set another one up in failure?
But that's the,
Is this the same old stuff that's on South Florida?
yes,
Oh, they're great.
yeah.
And it would be fantastic for the community here with a, basically a grocery store, right?
And they have a large following. I know one of the other ones
Very large.
did, local down the
Prior to,
street.
we had Drinkas, and she had a large following,
Yeah.
and then we had Stone Cabin,
Mhm.
Cheesecake,
That's
and
the
they
one.
also had a large following.
But this is different, I think.
It doesn't hurt to go ahead with another month such as this, and if they do.
Then we can do it to the library.
Yeah.
What I am, I did speak to
Sorry,
the,
I love the library.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
so I did speak to the owner just to get an idea on what their electrical needs would be, because the coffee shop was not set up to withstand so many refrigerators or commercial level equipment that I wanna ensure it doesn't cause the breakers, to flip every time. So I'm in discussion with that just to ensure that this location will actually work for, the marketplace.
Well, if it looks like it can we let them try, and then if not,
Exactly.
they'll get it back?
I would suggest this, I thought of this, Jamie, is if the electricity is not up to, you could offer to them to go to an electrician and have it upgraded so it would meet their needs.
The only thing with that concern is, what are we financially responsible for if it doesn't work out? Are we now gonna be responsible to have to reimburse back?
No, it's all them.
I think we would like to clear the MOU or something that would be between that and the city, if that would be
If
good.
they need to upgrade the electricity, it's all on them.
And if it doesn't work out for them, that they don't get it reimbursed. That's their risk, I guess, their capital.
We done with that one? Annette, come on down.
And at Wood Dempsey, 398 Northwest Ninth Avenue, here in Mulberry. I have two situations I want you all to look at, if you all would. The JRE Lee Alumni Association has talked to TICO about the poles that we're trying to put up down by Mulberry Middle School on JRE Lee campus. They do not want us to put our flags on their poles. They want to invest in JRE Lee by putting up their own flag poles like they have in Bartow with their flags, if you notice in Bartow, going down Broadway. Those flag poles are put up by TICO. They charge you so much a month, and we have been collecting money to try to do this. We are hoping that the city will consider helping us. Coach Colin Smith is our president. He's ill right now, so I'm here speaking in his behalf. Coach has served Mulberry for years, and I think it's no more than right for us to help see this happen, because we do things there at the middle school during the festivity time. We take goodies down, and we are implementing things in the community. That's JRE. And I'm hoping by Commissioner Smith being a part of Mulberry for 80-some years, you all will consider helping us get this done through TICO. Because they say that they would install the poles, but we'll have to pay so much a month. And we just want to do 2 on MLK and 2 on the, I think it's 5th Street.
Do you know the fee for that? Do you know the total fee for the floor?
They are going to meet with us next month, and we'll come back up and let you know the figures. But we're wanting you to know what is going on. Okay, my next thing is Eddie Wood Park. When Mr. Johnson was here, he was asked, is there any way that we could get Daddy's name on that wall? The plaque they put on the front is fading. People are calling to find out where is the Eddie Wood Park. And Mr. Johnson told me that he would see that it get done. And the reason I'm asking is because Daddy left a legacy back here. We have a legacy that stands tall in the Mulberry community. It was so good, my nephew, Ben Stevenson, helped build that $30 million apartment complex there on Powder Road and put my daddy's name on it. Now, why do we have to guess where is the Edgewood Park? His name is not on it. Back in the years Daddy was born in 1906. Daddy worked for IMC. There's a picture of Daddy, R.B. Fuller, who was the president of IMC, helped cutting the 75th birthday cake for the city of Mulberry. That's how well he was thought of. He sent 12 children to school. He has about 7 or 8 doctors. He has lawyers. Mr. Hatch knows his second oldest son, Osamar Woodard, who was director of personnel at the Polk County School Board. He deserved these things. And we are hoping that you all will think about it and help us to make a difference with the celebration that's coming up soon. I got my notice, the red, white, and blue United States of America anniversary expedition. Please consider my father, who made a difference by doing good while he was here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reed.
Are you asking for the plaque to be redone or something else?
More like signage on the wall, you say?
What would you like to see?
His name on the wall.
Okay.
Because my brother, they invested in that park. They put pavilion out there.
So not the plaque, you don't want the plaque.
We have
redone.
plaques on the back stating what Daddy did, what he stood for, and his family and things. But on that wall that you come in on Northwest 9th Avenue, that's what we would like to see, his name, Edgewood Park.
That makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commission comments, who wants to go first? I'll let you jump in one. Don't Dawn. You don't Dawn.
I'm looking for my notes, I'm sorry. I just have a couple little things. Nothing.
Okay, either one.
Well, while you look for your notes, I'll go
Okay,
ahead.
thank you.
Just to speed things along here a little bit. One, congratulations to all the recipients for the chili cook-off donations, all well deserved. I know you're gonna put it to great use. Two, congratulations to our city clerks. I don't know what we would do without them here. I would have been flown there a long time ago. Three is a warning. Get it all straight here. So the burn ban in Polk County has been rescinded. They say indefinitely, but we know that that's gonna be when we don't get rain in the next week or so. But there is still a water rationing going on. As my note says, phase 3 water shortage is still in effect. And they're serious, Swift serious about this. They will fine you, and they don't have to give you a warning first. The fines start at $125. So please pay attention to the watering system. We are into 1 day a week here in Mulberry. Each address has its own day that it can operate, and I did jot this down. 1 to 2, 0 to 1 is Monday, 2 to 3 is Tuesday, 3 to 4 is Wednesday, 6 to 7 is, I lost one on there, 6 to 7 is Thursday, and then 8 or 9 is Friday. I left off 5 here for some reason. The times have been changed as well. You can water between
12:01 a.m. to 4 a.m. or 8 p.m. to 11:59 p.m. Now, if you're hand watering or something like that, there's no date on that, but they do ask that you do that before 8 or 9, I'm correct, let's see, before between 12 to 6, basically. I used to have neighbors that would go out at 3 o'clock in the morning and water their lawns during one of our drought things, but, so now you don't have to do that, you can be out there legally, just make sure it's on the date that you're looking at. Any more information can be had on the city's website, the Mulberry website, because there are all these little differences about the, if you have a fountain in your yard, you can run that for 4 hours a day. If you need to power wash, all that's listed on the website. And I think they're going, Janice's gonna make sure that it's listed on the Mulberry thing. I'll get you a more comprehensive thing on what I just said.
What kind of numbers, you said 1 and 2 is like a certain day, 3, what are those numbers?
0 to 1 is Monday.
The last
and-
number, your house number.
Yeah, the house numbers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I first thought it was zip code thing, or I thought running water on the same day was that problem. I had to dig a little deeper there, it's by your house address. So, that's all I really have, and then, let's see what's gonna happen within the next couple of weeks. Okay, go ahead.
Dawn, go ahead.
Mulberry High School had an event a few weeks ago. It wasn't advertised on the city website or through the chamber or anything like that. I just happened to have a resident call me and tell me, hey, there's this event going up at the high school. It was very nice. It had a lot of vendors to help if you're a parent. It had a lot of support vendors out there for the kids. So it was a nice event. It would have been nice to advertise a little bit more. There was a resident that called about a water issue that Janie and Jason handled like in less than 10 minutes. They got up there, it was after hours, so they did a great job handling that. That was at Studio 37. And then the finance committee and Miss Ayala helped one of the members in our community with a street light that we're gonna get on 5th Street. That's the street that the kids walk to the high school, and it's pretty dark on that corner. So between a letter from the principal and I pulled an accident report that just happened recently on 12th Avenue, they were able to see that it was a safety concern, am I correct? And do you know how long it takes to get the street light?
I do not, I know, Wasman has sent out the email requesting the information and trying to get a timeline, so we haven't heard back just yet.
And then I just have maybe a random question about the comprehensive plan. When the last time it was actually updated?
Good question. I'll have to get back to you.
I just think with all the AI stuff and the data center, like, we wanna be proactive because that stuff wasn't around back then when that stuff was, and we might wanna take a look at it and see if we need to update that. Then the other thing is, I'm sure you have to, I'll actually do this on the side. I don't really need to ask it right here, so that's all I have for tonight. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your input, Tom, on some of our topics tonight.
There we go.
Sure, I just got one thing I alluded to earlier. When we went to the Ridge League of Cities meeting, they had a guest speaker from Civic Social. Day before, it was plastered all over Facebook. One video went viral, 25,000, the next day 34,000. So what this person said in the video was 2 vendors pulled out. They're no longer there. Well, only one vendor is no longer there because they were not meeting they were not producing within the agreement. The other vendor who allegedly pulled out, he combined both of his restaurants to one. Great business move. Each vendor pays a 20% vendor fee. So why pay 40% when you can pay 20%?
Which one was that?
The pork and pig combined.
Those used to be porchettas and
Yeah, chicken and pig.
now it's chicken and pig.
Yeah, there was two of them that combined. Yeah.
That part out.
Yeah, I did, yeah. And I mentioned about it earlier. Signs, this commission agreed to place signs, or with the CRA who did it, I can't remember. The CRA agreed to put one sign on 60, one sign on 37, Depot 303, Food Hall. Signs take time, they're large. But we don't have signs yet. And we are not advertising. But the CRA approved $7,000 at our last CRA meeting to advertise. And then this person made the statement, I don't know who's to blame, the city or the guy running the place. Well, they're one and the same. We're in partnership with the person who's running the place. I kind of took offense to that. I'm proud of the Depot 303. I will say this though, I'm sure that visits increased since there was 34,000 hits on Facebook. And now there's a mock-up of AI generated things in the Depot 303 that aren't even in there. The lights aren't even, come on, really? So, for those who were saying, you know, we need this and we need that, we do have this, we do have that, it's in the works, we're waiting on it. But that said, I'm off my soapbox. One and done tonight.
There's a theory that no advertising, well, that all advertising is good advertising, bad news is good advertising, so it goes. But there is another thing coming out on Facebook, they're showing to me today, there's a question and answer coming up with John, with Buffalo.
Okay, good. I kind of mentioned that.
So, if that was pushed through by Hardin, there's a father's on the team or something. So, what I see on Facebook, I didn't catch that, by the way, I'm on Facebook quite often, so I guess I'm out of the algorithm for that one. But what I do see is a lot of Hope Restaurants has been putting down, has been posting things on the Depot, saying how wonderful it is. People have been coming in from Lakeland saying, hey, this is good, this is like a hidden spot, we need to come out here. And so there's little positive things coming up as well. So the more it can get its name mentioned, the higher it reaches on the algorithm, the better it is. And I will go back again with what I've said 3 times now. Restaurants are a risky business. It takes 5 years to break even, and they are already doing an awesome job to get to that in year 1.
Thank you. Rosa, what you got?
I have a lot of people that talk to me about Depot 303, they go there, but they are like, there's no advertising, and I bring up to them what's going on, you know, for some of those people aren't social media people. Who would we contact to see about this, who is it that is in charge of the signs?
So, we had got the signs from 7 Graphics. I did email all of the CRA board members, I say last week, giving you guys the update that I was provided.
Oh, okay, yeah.
7 Graphics.
Do they give us an idea when?
No, I did reach out to them again via email, and I'm waiting to see the back.
Because I just want people on site say, you need signs, and I'm just very thankful, and I've said this before, but I'm very thankful that I'm involved with a city that gives back so much to the nonprofits that are in the city. And, it's good to be a part of that.
cost me, I was gonna say that, something similar. I'm glad to see the city give all this money away and, to all these nonprofits, and, I wish there was more. And, but you know, it is what it is, what we do is a great job. So I'm glad that all the Chelsea, you and Catherine and your crews, all that y'all do. And, of course, I see Christy and John sometime at the depot on trivia night, along with Chelsea and Neil, and that's a fun time.
I go to socialize on trivia night.
This past weekend, or week, on Thursday night, there was a group behind where we were sitting, and the guy says, "Y'all do this every Thursday night?" We're, "Yeah." "What time does it start?" And we told him, and I think they'll start coming, so.
Sounds like it.
It's really neat to see that grow. Now, this past week, there was only 10 teams. The week before that, there was 20 teams. So, you know, it varies from week to week. So, and this past week, the questions were, in my opinion, very, very, very difficult. Now, but some people, you know, everyone has a different
Base of knowledge.
So, it is what.
That's just because we lost.
I was gonna say, that's the mayor's nice way of saying we crashed and burned.
But, you know,
That was flames.
we were second place as first loser, so. Anyway,
Not the original football anymore.
moving on. I also want to talk about the, Citizens Bank ATM up here. It's it's what's called a virtual ATM. I don't know how many of you have accounts with Citizens Bank, but if you go up there during business hours, you can talk to a teller. They'll come up on the screen. You never know what branch that teller is at, where they are, but you can talk to the teller on the screen, and if you want money out of the ATM, I guess you gotta have an account there, but say you want $20, they don't just get you don't have to take a $20 bill. She'll give it to you anyway. If you want, she gave the lady, she showed me, she gave her a 10, a 5, and 5 ones. And I've never seen an ATM do that. So that was kind of interesting that you could, and you can make payments or do this or that. Anything you basically can do at the bank with the teller, you can do at that machine during banking hours. Now, after banking hours, it's just like a regular ATM, I think. I mean, so anyway.
She did say you need to turn the volume up because the
Oh,
street
yeah.
traffic is.
Yeah, every time you get there, you gotta put the volume all the way up, and the next time, like if I'm using it, if I turn it up, if Dawn comes behind me and uses it, it's gone back down again, so she's gotta turn it up too. Or they can't hear you, you can't hear them, so that's one of the, I think, to me, that's software, and that could be solved, but the guy that did, the software guy was there the day of the ribbon cut, and he said, "No, it can't be fixed." And I'm like, that's a bunch of hooey. It can't be. You just don't want to do it. But anyway, enough said about that. And I'll shut up. I'm done. City manager.
Sure. So I handed you, or provided you guys with my, annual report, but also what I provided to you was the law enforcement contract renewal. They did state that that's gonna be a 4% increase for the next fiscal year. Once the agreement or contract comes in, then we'll be presenting that to the commission for approval, probably the first meeting in May. That's all.
All you have. Ooh. City attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commission, no report tonight. Very glad to be here.
You could have found it out.
Pardon?
You could have found it out.
I don't know how to work that out.
Jamie, just the comprehensive plan, is that, you look at it with the city attorney, like, how does that?
So I'll go back and look at it to research when the last time we updated it, and then I'll send the commission an email letting you guys know when it was last updated, and if you would like, that could be a topic of discussion for the following agenda.
I will say that there's generally a requirement to do a year evaluation and appraisal report, and every 7 years, I think, you had to update maps and text and all that. I would say that, and I follow exactly what you're saying, I think that's very important to be proactive.
Yes.
But we do also have to, we have to meld that with the idea of Senate Bill 180, because there are some communities, Auburndale being one of them, it's not a secret, they submitted their comprehensive plan annual evaluation report in September of 2025, and it was rejected by the city. And then they said we had to start all over again, which we did in January 26th. And last night, they approved the adoption of it. Clear, no objections from the Florida Department of Commerce, but it is, so you gotta be mindful what it is you're putting in the plan, because if the Department of Commerce reviews it, and they'll look at it with the lens of, is there anything more burdensome and restrictive here than what was before? So you just have to be mindful of that, and certainly, who is it, is it Jeffrey Mocker? Who's with the Senate Florida Regional Planning Council, who will be very knowledgeable about that, and I'm sure that you can find out exactly what to do.
Can I add one more thing before you comment, Jeff?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't forget Mulberry Jams this Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
Good call. I think we all forgot.
It's gonna be gorgeous out, so.
Starts at 6.
It's a good night.
Correct. Also, before I turn it over to the city clerk, I don't want us as a group to forget, redistricting. That needs to be on our back of our plan. That needs to happen. And something I think, we did when Rick first came here, that I think once, if and when we make Jamie full-time, we need to do some strategic planning and have a sit-down session on that. And that could potentially, involve that comprehensive plan also. So, anyway, city clerk.
I just want to remind everyone, if you were planning to go to the Stevens County, that is going to be Thursday, April 23rd at 9 o'clock. You do not have to RSVP, although they do prefer that you do, so they can plan.
Wait, can you say all that again?
Yes, state of the county. I did forward this email to everyone. It is Thursday, April 23rd at 9 o'clock at the Center for Public Safety. That's the Gym team or the sheriff's office. But, yeah. So if you need any more information on that, please let me know. That's all I have.
Commissioner, do you think we're close? We stand adjourned. Thanks for coming.
April